help your children. Don't let them fall by the side of the road, and teach them to love one another, that heaven might find.
Of our young people to know that they also can excel in music and of course in academic areas, in addition to the sports and entertainment, because we're such a gifted people, and it's just unfortunate that the way the media portrays us is in such a limited light. But yeah, my father's legacy is profound in the classical choral area. He just soared.
He just excelled. You know, I understand he's named after a great American a musician called Irving Berlin, right? He was
Yes.
named after him.
Yes, my grandmother.
Named him. And
Named
also,
him.
he also did some great works for Ellington. Is that
Oh
right?
my goodness, you know, it wasn't until we were adult children that we found out that the Duke Ellington handpicked my father's choir. Now at that time, it was called the Irving Bunton Singers. He handpicked the choir to perform as part of an exposition that was held at Erie Crown Theater. And the name of Duke Ellington's production was My People. In fact, it's available on CD. And so my father's choir, who performs, I mean, you're just absolutely stuck when you hear the sounds that come from the a cappella skills of that choir. And you know, it actually occurred chronologically at the same precise time that Martin Luther King was giving his I Have a Dream speech. So in addition to this, you know, civil rights revolution, you know, as a companion revolution was the cultural and music revolution. So we're just, you know, we're just brilliant people in general.
You know, why can you think things like that? I know there are, in some degree, they're going on today, but among our youth, why isn't that going on today, you know, with what your father did? Why isn't that not happening right now?
You know, it's so unfortunate that mainstream media has decided to make money off of the poor conditions of a people instead of building up the people where everyone would benefit. And I think it's just a lack of exposure, because once we know what we're able to do, we just rise to the occasion. When we do better. And that's really why I went into business, because I thought it was I thought that, you know, first of all, I had my master's degree and I didn't know of all of the richness that was a part of our culture. And once I found out about it, I just thought, oh my gosh, everybody needs to know about this, because it just makes you stand taller. You know, it just builds your self-esteem, it builds your confidence, and you say, well, if that person looks like me, and they can do that, I can do that. And, you know, it's just unfortunate that that's the way things are at this moment, but it gives us a lot to, it's a lot that we know we need to build too, you know.
Now, did the interest come to you just by reading books, or somebody giving them to you? Or how did it come about? Because I understand you've owned this bookstore, Afriware, for years. You're here.
Yeah, 23 years.
Yes.
We started off in Broadview, actually, for a year. We moved to Oak Park, and now we feel like we've come full circle and that we're back home in Maywood. In fact, Maywood, I will go on camera to say, Maywood, this location has felt the most like home because of the welcome that we received. The mayor came, you know, I'd never seen the Maywood in any other location. The mayor, Yarborough, came to see us, and the mayor, oh my gosh, I hate her name, please. Perkins, thank you.
Oh, yes, the president.
Yes, she came to one of our events on mental health. And I mean, just to see that level of support from the City of Eternal Light, and the birth home of Fred Hampton, you know, that is, to see that kind of support from your people is priceless. It's priceless.
You've had many guests here in the store, you know, because I've been kind of associated, you know, by being a person to come here every now and then, you know, to check out the books here, because I'm interested in also. But you've had many famous guests come here. Could you name a few of those people that have been here to your store?
Oh, sure. Well, I'll start with the author that may be the most well-known and most recent that the group you're a part of, the Businessmen's Group.
Oh, okay.
Mai Haley, which is the wife of Alex Haley. Dr. Mai Haley was here promoting her book. We've had Claude Anderson, we've had Dr. Welsing, we've had Browder, who's now, I mean, we've known him from the Browder File back in the day. Of course, he used to, he grew up in Oak Park, but now the DVD series, Hidden Colors, he definitely has gotten a lot more exposure. Success of that. Pam Grier was here. Oh my gosh, the men, speaking of men, okay, they were wrapped around the corner to see her, and then she is just the most beautiful spirit, you know, inside and out, and for her to even agree to a black bookstore says so much to me for her personal commitment to our people and the success of our businesses, because there's a lot of authors that are not as savvy about where they're choosing to do their book signings. We've had Kimberla Lawson Roby, very well-known, best-selling, New York Times best-selling author. L.A. Banks, unfortunately she's passed, but she's the author, many books, but probably most well known for the Vampire Huntress series, where she puts such cultural gems hidden deep inside this this novel of vampires. You know, so creative. She also had a romance series, and she just told us when she came to speak that she jumped genres when she found out that our people were jumping genres. So she didn't just stay, you know, in one place saying, okay, this is, you know, staking this place out only, but she was flexible enough to go where the people were.
That's great.
Yeah, oh my goodness, high praise for her.
Now back to your father again, you know. Now he was, I understand he wrote some things for Duke Ellington, but one thing that came across with me that he did was a head of the music department at Ebenezer Baptist Church down in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Absolutely. My father has had so many church homes. The latest one was University Church. He was at Ebenezer Baptist Church. I think it was 8 years. Maybe it was about 10 years.
Did he live down there, or just fly back and forth?
He moved. My mom and he moved, and I used to live there shortly when I was getting my graduate degree in electrical engineering at Georgia Tech, and I just loved there was no snow there, so I highly recommend. You know, someone was offering him a job there, you know, so that was such a, an honor for him to be at the
Mhm.
same church that Martin
Mhm.
Luther King,
Pastor of,
was the pastor of, absolutely. And Park Manor Church, he was also music director there.
And he was also in charge of the music department for the Chicago City Schools, right?
Yes, I mean, my father, I learned so much more about him. He passed in just a month ago. We had his funeral services, and I learned so much more about him in preparing the obituary that I didn't even know of. I knew that, I knew, of course, as a father, he instilled this excellence in us all the time. If we brought home 90, 95 on an exam, he was asking, well, what about those 5 points? It should be 100. His standard of excellence was just so high. And when I started reading some of the inscriptions on the back of that the students gave to him, and just expressing their love and appreciation for him as a teacher. In fact, one time a student told me that my father got him to stop smoking. Can you imagine? I mean, teaching today, there's only so much, that you can say in terms of personal affairs. But he was that kind of teacher that went above and beyond and was recommending career choices and good living lifestyle and that kind of thing. So he was definitely a master teacher, and I didn't really fully understand that until one day I was talking to him, and he just asked me out of the blue. He said, "Who taught you?" Oh no, I had come home and I had my helmet because I was bike riding. And he asked me, "Who taught you how to ride the bike?" And I looked at him and I thought, wow, he's forgotten. I said, "Dad, it was you. It was you." He said, "Really?" And he said, "I never learned to ride. I never learned how to ride a bicycle." I said, "Really?" He said, "Nope." And at that moment, I knew it would have to be a master teacher to be able, not only to be able to teach someone else how to do it, but it's something that he didn't even know how to do. But he also loved me so much that he found a way. From something he couldn't do, he found a way to teach me. And I just knew that he knew, because he was like, "Oh, balance yourself, and you can do it. Oh, try it again." And then we'd have first I had the training wheels, of course. The training wheels came out, and he was just every step of the way, coaching me. And I just was, oh my goodness, yes.
But that speaks for itself. That speaks of the standard he had of living. It's the reason why he was able to create a lot of good music that he did.
Oh my goodness, yes.
He had such a great choir that sung like they did. They had people coming after him always. And also,
absolutely.
And you had high standards to go by living for yourself, Because,
yes.
I want to talk a little about you, You let our audience know where you teach at right now. Where do you teach at?
Okay. Well, first of all, of course, I did start off as a classical pianist. I thought that's what I was going to do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and then, of course, Dad made sure that we had exposure to so many different things. I was in the band as well. I used to play the French horn. I even took square dancing, gymnastics, so a lot of different fields he exposed me to, so that I could figure out, what am I going to do, in this world. But then I went on to get my bachelor's degree and master's degree in electrical engineering. And that was exciting and very interesting, but it wasn't quite fueling the passion that I had to share our culture with our people. I didn't know it at the time, what that passion was, but when I started reading with a group at Ellison, or AT&T at the time, it was me and some black men who decided we were going to start reading some more books by African Americans. And we started with Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Yeah.
Very great classic book. That's a great
Absolutely,
book.
absolutely. And I was just like, where have these books been all my life, you know, because in school we did not get exposure to these classic works. And so we were debating them, talking about them, and then I read Jawanza Kunjufu's book, Black Economics, which just puts before you the amount of money that you spend inside the community. He asks you to basically take a tally of how your money is being spent. And you can see clearly, you know, that the money is going outside of the community. You know, food, expenses, you know, rent, all of those expenses are not being fulfilled by our people. So I'm getting back to your question. So after I decided to start the business and everything, that was fueling more, you know, my personal inner passions, and I think it was allowing me to develop more of my gifts in sharing the greatness of our people. That's what I think one of my gifts is in being able to promote that. Promote that. Now, yes, now I am a professor at a prestigious university. I'm not going to call their name. They're definitely a prestigious university because I'm not speaking, you know, on behalf of them at this time. But I didn't realize that I would enjoy teaching so much. But that's another passion of mine. And I really am like enjoying the mix now because I'm able to continue the business thanks to Deshonda Curtin Rodney. Is the owner of Hbcu Accessories.
Oh, what is that, HBCU?
So historically black colleges and universities, accessories such as mugs, T-shirts, that are reflective of the colleges that we need to support. Pardon me, and I'm just so thankful for our business relationship because it's just so, it came about in such an organic fashion, and we're just supporting each other, I think, beautifully.
If you had known about the love that you had for the black culture and African culture at an earlier time, you know, say like you were in high school or junior high, what do you think you would have majored in that in mathematics or in engineering, any of those kind of subjects? You think it would have been that, you know, the love for it would have been brought another major to you in life?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Whatever major I would have gone into, or I'm just speaking to anyone in general, whatever major you are in, the culture of the people can enhance your knowledge in that area. For example, when I was in getting my bachelor's degree, we learned about William Shockley. Now, William Shockley was responsible for building the transistor.
Right.
However, he was also responsible for promoting the you know, misguided and backward diagnosis that African people were somehow inherently inferior, and he so-called proved it using the bell curve, which is a normalized distribution. He so-called proved it. So can you imagine a young African-American woman in a classroom where basically a racist is being lauded for their works, okay? And not knowing not knowing the genius of an Imhotep who built the pyramids. I mean, he had to have, and he of course was a multi-genius, but he had to know, he had to have what am I trying to say, a heightened awareness of trigonometry, of, you know, geometry, of math, you know, to a very high degree in order for those pyramids to be standing today, right?
That's right.
But, oh my goodness, if I had known that,
Oh, yeah.
you know, if I had known that, then me sitting as like the only black girl in the engineering classroom, I would have known that this is a part of who I am.
Yeah, right.
This is a part of who I am. This is what my people brought to the table, you know. And so while I did do well, I think I would have even done better.
If he had
you
known
know,
that fact.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And then again, little did he know, he may have known that there was a great area of town of Maywood and Mugo Park by the name of Percy Julian.
Oh my goodness.
That was
Oh,
one
my
of
goodness.
that many people say was the greatest chemist that lived in the 20th century. And in Oak Park High School, they brought a special out about him one day, I think in 206, that I was invited to go to, I went to.
Absolutely.
And he did talk about the inventions he made, and all the discoveries he made. And, you know,
Yes.
and matter of fact, he was around during the same time that guy Shockley was, because I believe during that period, Percy Julian, I believe maybe in 1950s, he got the award from the city of Chicago as the Chicagoan of the Year.
Really?
Yes, for the great,
Oh, my goodness.
some of his great adventures that he did, you know.